What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews, and I'm here to take you through a comprehensive NBA player prop preview for Game 7 of the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Orlando Magic. If it's your first time tuning in, I'll let you know I do this every single day. I share my screen, we go through Outlier, we look at all the key players, the matchups, their form lines, what's good and what isn't. And I do all this to give you all the information that you need to make the best bets possible. Now, yesterday, we had the Denver Nuggets versus Timberwolves, an excellent game to watch. And a lot of the reads that we had were quite right. Nikola Jokic, we read his first quarter perfectly. Mike Conley had a strong game as predicted. Karl Anthony Towns covered his points prop. What else happened in that game? And I liked his over. Wasn't man enough to take it, but man, he was good. Did get a couple wrong though, not gonna lie. Ended up taking Karl Anthony Towns points plus rebounds, which is strange for me because I already bet on his points, made a short about it. And then when I put another set of picks in, I did points plus rebounds and I shared that with you all. So I apologize if that's what you tailed and you lost. But for the most part, pretty decent read. Not the most profitable day, but I like that series. I think it's going to be a great series to bet on. We're now looking at Orlando versus Cleveland, Game 7. So having a quick look at the lineups, we've got Gary Harris and Jarrett Allen as game time decisions. Read a report that Jarrett Allen, even in the shoot around for the last game, couldn't even lift his arm up. So I don't know. I don't think he's going to play. And if he does, he's going to be very vulnerable out there. So look, in this series, all the home teams have been winning. Cleveland won at home, Magic won at home. We're now in Game 7 in Cleveland, where they are 3-point favorites. The total points line is 194, so we got some gritty-ass game ahead. But let's check out the box score in the last game, see if anything really stood out to us, and then we'll jump into Outlier and start tearing some things apart. All right, so just looking at the box score now on NBA.com. So checking out these Cleveland Cavaliers first. Let's start with Donovan Mitchell. My man went crazy. 50 points, 36 shot attempts, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He was an absolute monster, and I don't know what he's going to do today because he had been struggling so far in this series, especially on the road. Went to Orlando, looked to close the series out on his own, and unfortunately didn't deliver, but a great performance from him. Darius Garland, 21 points, 7 boards, 5 assists. That's 2 consecutive games now where Darius Garland has had pretty strong outings, so that could be a good look. He played a lot of minutes as well. Max Strus had 8 rebounds. That's a pretty solid effort. Marcus Morris got a start. He got 8 rebounds as well. And Evan Mobley, terrible. You'd think he'd have a massive game with no Jarrett Allen in the lineup. Evan Mobley only had 3 points, shot the ball 5 times, and had 6 rebounds. He did, however, have 5 blocks, which is excellent. And then if you look at the Cleveland bench, they got nothing. 10 points from their bench in that game. So I think it makes sense. Donovan Mitchell dropping 50 on your head. Let's have a quick look at the Orlando Magic. We saw Jonathan Isaac put up a donut, 0 points, but he did have 9 rebounds in 23 minutes. Banchero, 42 minutes, 20 shot attempts, 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. Wendell Carter Jr., 11 points and 9 boards. I know that was a lean of mine, his rebounds, and I didn't take it. We had Franz Wagner had 26 points, 11 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds for him. And Jaylen Suggs had a very strong game. 6 3-pointers made in that game, 6 boards, 4 assists, and 22 points. Looking at their bench, it was a little bit better than Cleveland's. Markelle Fultz had 6. Cole Anthony had 9. Mo Wagner, pretty quiet game from him with only 2 points, but he did have 6 rebounds. So we're heading into Game 7 now at Cleveland, and a lot of these guys have played a certain way depending on where this game is being played. So interesting to see how this one's going to turn out. With a total at 194, I would be hoping to see some points lines a lot lower, and maybe we see some higher rebound lines because these teams are gritty as hell. And all right, so jumping into Outlier, my screen just crashed. Well, not my screen, my whole computer did, but thank God this software kept recording. So hopefully nothing done fucked up there. I'm going to have to re-record the start of this shit, but let's get into it. Cleveland versus Orlando, the only game on the slate. So let's not rush. Let's dive in deep, shall we? Let's start with the road team. It's the Orlando Magic, and we'll start with the big dog, Paolo Banchero. Now, filtering these games by the last 5 just to see if anything pops out to us. And it looks like an under in his rebounds and assists has been hitting quite well, so let's check that out. Banchero, rebounds and assist lines at 12.5. So far in this series, he's gone under in 5 out of the 6 games, which is pretty crazy. He did go over in the first game, played in Orlando with 14 rebounds and 5 assists. Although the last 2 games have been very close, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. So I wouldn't be interested in playing the under, given that this is going to be a very important game. He should get even more minutes. So I'd be a bit hesitant in taking that. But let's talk about it. His points prop, 24.5 is the line. He has cashed this in 3 out of the 6 games played so far. Last 2 games, 39 and 27 points. Looking at his minutes so far in this series, we're getting 41s. In the blowouts, he got 30. The last 2 games, which have been competitive, 38 and 42 minutes. So I'd project him to get at least 40 minutes in this game, to be honest. And firstly, we've covered it in 3 out of 6. If we look at the season, maybe we project his minutes to 40 and see what comes up. So he's played 40 plus minutes, 9 games this year. 3 of them have been in the playoffs. He's covered this line in 5 out of the 9 games, averaging 28.3 points per game. So, yeah, if I really just look into the last few games to see what's happening, let's get rid of this filter here. All right. So what do we have for Banchero? Let's look at his work. So field goal attempts. Not the most consistent ones. He's taken 20 plus shots, though, in 4 out of the 6 games in this series. The games where he didn't were blowout loss and a win where he didn't shoot the ball. Given this game is going to be competitive, we could basically book him in for 20 shots at least, right? Paolo Banchero. Now, if he's going to take 20 shots in this game, depending on his shooting percentage and how often he can get to the free throw line, last 2 games, aggressive as hell. And I think given Jarrett Allen's status in this game, Banchero is going to be aggressive getting to the rim. So, look, to be honest, I don't mind the over here. I've got a good feeling about it. I don't normally have a good feeling about anything that happens within these teams, but Banchero to go over 24.5 points in a deciding game as the number 1 option, give it to me. Let's take a look. Now, looking at his assist prop, 4.5. He's covered this in 3 out of the 6 games. He's gone under in his last 2, though. I think given how gritty and defensive this game's probably going to be, I'd probably lean to the under here. And the under's got playing plus money, plus 104. Now, it doesn't have the best hit rate, but this game isn't going to be like any of the others. It's going to be grindy as hell. I feel like maybe only the top guys take the majority of the shots. His usage rate should be a lot higher. So, yeah, I don't think he finds guys as easy as he has. Looking at his boards, he's covered this in 3 out of 6 games as well. His last 2 rebounded quite well with 8 rebounds. If we look at his chances, though, 13 and 10 rebound chances, so quite low. And I feel like given he's going to play extra minutes, he should get slightly more rebound chances, I'd say. But I would lean to the over for Banchero on his boards, but not with too much confidence. But he has covered in 3 out of his last 6. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go over. I just really feel like the points angle is probably the better one. I know it's going to be low scoring. Well, it's expected to be low scoring anyway, but if Banchero is going to take 25% of the shots that go up, let's go. Now, the other person is Franz Wagner. Now, last time I did fade him when he was on the road. So let's take a look at Franz, but let's firstly look at his first quarter points. So Outlier is letting me know that this is juicy as hell. So he's covered this in 4 out of his last 5 games in this series. Just let me check it. He's covered in 5 out of his 6 games. So 5 out of the 6 games in this series, Franz Wagner, over 5.5 points in the first quarter. You can see in the last 4 games, 12, 12, 12, and 10.5 minutes played. So looking at a first quarter prop, Franz has been delivering. Now, I might even get spicy with it. And let me show you how. I like the first quarter points. His points on at 19.5, though, I don't like it. I'm honestly leaning the under. I did it last time. He scored 34 at home. Then he went back to Cleveland. I backed the under then, and I'm thinking of doing the same. 26 points at home. I'm thinking on the road in Cleveland, things about to tighten up. I think it gets a bit more difficult for him. So he's a little bit different to Banchero. His shot volume, it does go up and down. He doesn't necessarily put up the volume the way that Banchero does. For him to get 20 points, what does he need to do? He needs to shoot at least 16 times and get to that last game. He got to the free throw line 11 times. I don't know if we can get repeat performances of that. If you look at the games he's played in Cleveland, 18, 18, and 14 points, 47%, 29%, and 27% shooting from the field. So his field goal percentage is quite poor on the road so far in these playoffs. He still gets to the free throw line somewhat, So that could make it a little bit challenging. From downtown, he's not shooting awfully well either. What I'm thinking of though, and when I said let's get spicy with it, is potentially looking at taking a parlay for him to go over his first quarter points prop, but then under his total points prop. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking could happen. Or you could play them both as singles, and if he splits, right? If he has a massive first quarter, then eventually covers his points line, then you probably only lose a little bit. But there is a chance that, he goes over his first quarter points prop, and then he goes under. And I'll tell you why. Because he's done that in he's gone under this points line in 4 of the games. We're talking about games 1 to 3 and then game 5. He's gone under. If we look at his first quarter points prop, he went over his points prop in first quarter points prop in games 1 to 3. And then in game 5, he went under with only 5. So it was half a point off in that game. So the first quarter points prop been banging. Obviously, the ones where he goes crazy, he goes over his totals. But at Cleveland, I'm not backing him to go crazy score on the ball. So that could be an interesting play. Now let's check his assist prop out. 3.5. He's covered this in 3 out of the 6 games so far in this series. He's covered this on the road once with 6 assists. Now, we know he's going to get minutes, but looking at his potential assists, they are a little bit up and down. But believe it or not, he's managed to cover this assist line with quite low potential assist numbers. That last game only had potential assists. So Banchero doing a little ISO, getting to the line, and similar to France, getting to the line a lot as well. And to be honest, we could see a repeat of that. I think assists are going to be hard to come by. These guys aren't going to be giving up easy buckets. People are going to be using their fouls. So assist props, I don't think I'm going to be betting him in this game. But France, looking at his rebounds, 5.5. He's covered that in 3 of his last 6. His lowest total has been 5, though, which, if you're looking at a parlay with slightly alternate lines, you can look at France 5 rebounds. I'm going to write that down. 5 rebounds. Looking at his potential rebounds, averaging what's he getting? 13, 13, 9, 14, 13, 10. So about 11 rebound chances per game. Yeah, at 11 rebound chances, he can probably get 6. But looking at the numbers, definitely be getting 5. So France, don't mind the 5 rebound line for an alternate parlay, but I don't like the straight bet here. I think the straight bet over in the first quarter points or under in his total points. Or both. Sorry about that. It's late. What else have we got? We got Jaylen Suggs. He had a big game. He's another player that's due for regression because that last game was crazy. 6 3-pointers from Jaylen Suggs in the playoffs. Come on, man. But let's see what Outlier's given us. 3.5 rebounds is a good hit. So he's cashed his 3.5 rebound line in 5 of the 6 games. He's covered in all 3 games in Cleveland. Now, the odds for this are minus 135, which are not great for a straight bet. But for you fantasy players, prize picks, chalkboard, sleeper, underdog, whatever the fuck you want, if you can get Jaylen Suggs for 3.5 rebounds, take them all. It looks like a great play. The rebound chances are definitely there as well. So, I don't mind the over for Jaylen Suggs. I wouldn't play it as a straight bet, but I'm not going to repeat myself there. His points prop, let's take a look. Now, his line's at 12.5. He has covered this in 4 out of the 6 games so far. He's actually covered this line twice on the road, but in those games, he only scored 13 points. This is another prop that's at minus 135. I wouldn't take this, even on a fantasy prop app, because I think he's due for some regression. He scored 24 points in 1 game in Orlando, went to Cleveland, then dropped 12. 22 points in that last game. I could honestly see him going under in this one, but he might get more minutes, opportunities, and unders. Not fun. Not fun. And the whole reason why we do this, right, is to have a good time. And hopefully win some money as well. And under, it's not pleasurable for me. And sometimes you don't win money on it either. So that sucks. Looking at his assists, though. Line's at 3.5. He has covered this in 3 out of 6 games in this series. On the road, he covered in the first 2 games on the road. Last game on the road, he had no assists. Looking at his potential assists, ooh, that's disgusting. So in his last 4 games, check his potential assist numbers. 3, 4, 1, and 3. Ooh, I'm no fan of that. Let's check his 3-point line real quick. 1.5 is the line here. He's gone under in all 3 games in Cleveland. So 1, 0, and 0 3-pointers. Let's check his attempts out. Game in Cleveland, 1 from 7. Second game in Cleveland, 0 from 3. Third game in Cleveland, 0 for 5. So, 6 from 13 in that last one is just wild. But look, I'm going to be brave here. Under for under 1.5 3-pointers for Jaylen Suggs, plus 140. That's what I'm talking about. Get in my belly. So it's a very interesting look. It's a very stressful look, not going to lie. But man, some of these players get stunned when they're on the road. And Suggs, but look at his 3-point shooting. He's not a big fan of traveling. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Suggs. Gary Harris, he's a game time decision. Ain't nobody better than him. Let's check out Big Dell, Wendell Carter Jr. Now, his rebound prop was a lean of mine in the last game. It cashed very easily, and I didn't take it. But thank you to those in the comments who let me know about it. His points line, though, 9.5. Let's check his last 10. He's only cashed this in 2 out of the 6 games so far in this series. His minutes are up in the last 2 games, though, 33 and 35. Looking at his field goal attempts, yeah, the last game they were high, but he took 11 shots and only scored 11 points. So I'm not loving Wendell Carter's points prop here. I'm not saying to bet the over, but I don't love it. I don't love this at all. If we look at the games at Cleveland as well, 6, 2, and 7. Oh, sorry, 3, 6, and 7 points. So he's gone under in all 3 games at Cleveland. But at the same time, his minutes were a little bit lower in those games. So don't put too much stock into that. Now we're on to the rebound prop. 7.5 plus 124. Let's go. Now he's covered this in the last 2 games where he saw an uplift in his minutes. And that's a real important part to this because prior to that, he'd gone under in 4 straight games. But you can see it here in his minutes. 15 minutes in game 1, 18 minutes in game 2, 24 minutes in game 3, 24 minutes in game 5. Sorry, game 4. Jeez, I can't count. And then 33 minutes and then 35 minutes in his last 2. Both of those games, 11 and 9 boards. Now, looking at his rebound chances, you can see it. His rebound chances look exactly the same way as his minutes. They've been going up every single game. Last 2 games, 21 and 16 rebound chances. He only needs to get 8 rebounds. If he gets at least 15 rebound chances, I think we're good here. So I like this for Wendell. I'm not too worried that he's on the road. Jared Allen's all banged up and shit. Give me Wendell Carter Jr. rebounds. This game's going to be gritty as hell. All right. I'm getting amped. I've never been so excited for a Magic Cavaliers game in my life. Let's check these boys off the bench. The bench boys. Cole Anthony. All right, so his points line, 5.5 plus 100. So far in the series, he's cashed this line 2 out of 6 games. Games where he cashed it, both of them were home games. On the road, 4, 0, and 2 points. I would not suggest anyone taking under 5.5. As much as I think that's where it's going to go, that's a real sweaty bet. So that's 2 3-pointers for Cole Anthony. So we're not going to be taking the under on his points prop, even though that's where I think it ends up. His assist line is 1.5. He's cashed this in 2 of 6 games. Again, on the road, ass. Not good. If we have a look at his rebound prop, 1.5. He's actually cashed this in 3 out of the 6 games. 2 of those games are on the road, believe it or not. 5 rebounds here, 2 rebounds there. Not bad. His minutes, they're pretty low, as you'd expect. And I think in a game as important as this one, he probably should see even less minutes. So that was a home game, that last one. And look, Cole Anthony was a +6 whilst he was on the floor. So he still got 18 minutes. So he probably still will get some. What I'm thinking is maybe taking the under in his points plus assists. But again, that's only 6.5. And you got to be a brave motherfucker to take a line that low. So I'm going to have to pass on Cole Anthony. There's no lines for Jonathan Isaac, but I'd be leaning an under on his points. That's for sure. So maybe keep an eye out for that. I think it'll be probably set around 7.5 or something. But that could be a good under. We got Markelle Fultz, but he ain't doing too much at all. He does get some minutes. Yeah, let's take a look at Markelle Fultz, actually. I don't know what this guy's been doing. I'm surprised he's still in the league. So let's check it out. His points plus assist prop has been hitting well as of late. He's cashed in 4 consecutive games now. 7.5, you're getting plus 100 for it. In this series, first 2 games, 1 point plus assists. Then his last 4, he's been a beast. Looking at his minutes, first 2 games in Cleveland, didn't get much time at all. Since then, 17, 19, 15, and 23 minutes played. Last time in Cleveland, he had 7 points and 3 assists. Like, he's playing quite well, believe it or not. He's shooting pretty high percentage, over 50% in every single game. He is taking about 5 shots per game, though. So, yeah, I'd probably lean to the over, but I'm not man enough to bet that for Markelle Fultz. And if you want to look at his assist prop, it's only been the last 2 games where he's really been hitting. So, a very small sample size. So, we're embedded on Markelle Fultz. Now let's get through these Cavaliers. Quick look at Jared Allen. I'm hesitant he's going to play, but I'll do some research into it anyway. Looking at the numbers, his first quarter points prop at 4.5 has been cashing quite well when he does play. So he's played 4 games so far in this series. In the first quarter, he's done 4, 8, 6, and 6, covering the 4.5 line with ease. Yeah, I think, look, if he's healthy, take it every day of the week, but we don't know that, right? He's covered 14.5 points in all 4 games as well. And then if we look at his rebound prop at 10.5, he cashed in the first 2, then he went under in the 2 in Orlando. So going back to Cleveland, that could be a look. But again, Jared Allen, this rib injury, if he couldn't lift his arm up only a few days ago, I'm a bit worried about betting on him. So I'm doubtful that he's going to play, but we'll see. I'll do a bit of research into it. We got Donovan Mitchell. So his first quarter assist prop has been banging. 4 out of his last 5 games. He has covered this assist prop. It is plus 120, so a plus money play here for Donovan Mitchell. If we look at this series, he's cashed in 5 out of the 6 games. He's gone over 1.5 assists in the first quarter. He's obviously going to get a lot of minutes. There was one game where he only played 7 minutes in the first quarter, and that was a game where he got 0 assists. But he's cashed this line in 5 out of the 6, 2 out of the 3 home games. So that could be a good look. Having a good look at his first quarter points prop, he's cashed this in 4 out of the 6 games. But I don't know. The Orlando Magic have to do something to slow this guy down. So I'm not too excited to bet that assist prop. But I like it enough to put it on my list. So let me just put that on my list and I'll research that. I don't think I'll bet it, but I'm going to look further into it. Let's look at his points prop. 28.5. Now, he's covered this twice out of the 6 games this series. 30 points in game 1, 50 points in game 6. The 4 games in between, Donovan Mitchell went under. Now, 2 of those games were home games where he went under. What's been different? Well, it's got to be shot attempts, right? 36 shots to get 50 points. He shot 61% from the field. He got to the rack at will. What I am thinking about doing for Donovan Mitchell, though, because I'm not sure about the points prop, honestly, I'm thinking of being brave here and looking at the under in his 2.5 3-pointers made. So he's cashed the 2.5 in 2 out of the 6 games. The first game and the most recent game, he finished on 3 3-pointers. He hasn't been shooting quite well. The best game he had was in the first game where he shot 3 from 8, which is only 38%. Every other game was worse than that. I don't know. I'm feeling brave here to even look at the under 2.5. But yeah, it hasn't been hitting well for him. He is at home. It is a home game after all. But I'm not going to bet it. I'm going to watch it closely. If he goes under, I'm going to kick myself. His rebound prop, though, what do we got here? 4.5. He's cashed in 3 out of the 6 games so far in this series. Pretty difficult to get a read on it, to be honest. So at minus 150 odds as well. Not worth a straight bet. If anything, at these odds, plus 130, you can take the under. But yeah, I'm not leaning either way, to be honest. And if we look at his assist prop, 4.5 minus 135 to go over. And he's covered this in 2 out of the 6 games so far in this series. And both of those games where he covered, they were on the road. The home games, he hasn't gotten close. 3, 4, and 2 assists at home. So if you look at the under, you're getting plus money here as well for Donovan Mitchell. Plus money, baby. So yeah, I probably lean to the under, and I think the odds are great for it. I just don't have enough reasons to take it. Let's look at his potential assists. Ooh, okay. So these are his potential assists. 7, 8, 10, 7, 7, 7. So let's just give him benefit of the doubt and say he's getting 8 potential assists. On the season, Donovan Mitchell averaged 11 potential assists, and he got less than 6. So if he's getting 8 potential assists, he'd probably get 4. Not even, right? 4.5. That's what he's getting. So you're getting good value. It's under in his assist prop. Like I said, I feel like there's probably not going to be so many assists in this game. So yeah, hopefully I'm right, but we'll see. I'll dive in a little bit further into Donovan Mitchell. We then have, where's my boy Darius Garland? Now, after that last game, I was thinking I've got to bet on his points prop because he's come back to life. So let's take a look at it. Because look, coming into this series, Darius Garland was killing the Magic. Let me look at show you the head-to-head stuff. Like, he had some pretty decent scoring games, and this is when his line was 14.5. Now his line is up to 18.5. So he's only cashed this in 2 out of the 6 games so far in the series. but they are the two most recent games of 23 and 21 points. What's changed? Well, the first thing that's changed, significant uplift in minutes. It's about a 20% increase or more, 20 to 35% increase in his minutes over the last two games. You look at his field goal attempts, we've also seen an increase in those, 16 and 17 field goal attempts. So the volume is there. He's shooting at a pretty good percentage, 56 and 59%. If you look at his three-pointers, hasn't seen a big lift in his volume, so he's attacking the rack, and he's not even getting to the free throw line. So 18.5 points plus money here for Darius Garland. I think Donovan Mitchell is going to be commanding a whole lot of attention. If you think about if you're sitting in the Orlando Magic war room, which Cavs player are you talking about slowing down? It's probably not Darius Garland, I'll tell you that. So I don't mind the points prop for Garland. Keep that trend going. The Magic are looking to really hone in on Donovan Mitchell. I think we might get some Darius Garland action in this, but I'll research it, of course. Now, his assist line, 5.5's the line, minus 142, so that's not great. He has cashed this quite well, 4 out of the 6 games this series. But looking at his potential assists, check this out. So we know over the last 2 games, he's getting more minutes than he ever had before in this series. But despite the extra minutes, he's actually getting less potential assists. So I can see why the line has dropped. The under is enticing at plus 120. I'm not willing to take it, but I'm not taking his over for assists, and for that very reason. All right, who else do we have? I do like a lot of these Cavs players' props, to be honest. Let's go Max Strus, because if his rebound line's at 5.5, I'm taking it. I'm just calling it right now. If it's 5.5, I am all over it. Let's start with his points, though. His points line's at 9.5. In this series, he's covered this line twice, and it just happened to be in his last 2 games. In those last 2 games, more minutes, about 39 minutes, more shots, 7, so 10 shots on average. More far out, a lot of threes. 7.5 3-pointers attempted in his last 2 games. 40% of those he's connecting on. So, all right, so Max Strus getting it popping. I see you. Yeah, look, I'd probably lean to the over here, home game, but again, it's probably not going to be a high scoring game. But Strus, depending on if he gets this type of volume up, he could get there. I don't think he can get there with another 7 shots unless he's lights out from downtown. So I don't necessarily love the points prop there. Assist, he's very capable to get these. 3.5 is the line. It's plus money, but he's cashed this in 2 or 6 games. And as I already told y'all, I'm not feeling the assist prop in this game. These guys are going to war. Rebounds is going to be where it's at. Check this shit out. 4.5 boards for Max Strus at minus 125. You guys smell that? I smell a Max Strus ladder on the cards. So I've loved betting Max Strus rebounds when he's at home. I love it more because Jared Allen's not there. And I love it even more because the game script, the game's going to be ugly as hell. People bricking shots all over the place. We might see both teams under 90 points, I hope. And if we do, there's a lot of rebound opportunities to go around. Evan Mobley's the only big guy they have on the court. He's going to be protecting the rim, so a lot more shot blocking and stuff like that for Evan Mobley. He's not going to be getting too many rebounds. That's where someone like Max Strus comes in, and he snakes them all. So I love this. Look at his numbers. At home, 9, 9, and 6. Last game on the road, he had 8 boards because there was no Jared Allen in the building. Now, Allen's unexpected to play. Cavs at home. Max Strus, he got 9 rebounds in the first 2 games with Jared Allen. Jared Allen got 20-something rebounds or something in those games. So I'm all over this. Give me Max Strus. This is my play of the day. I am somewhat aroused by this. So we'll get Max Strus 4.5 rebounds. We'll take that. But let's just look to see what the ladder is going to look like. 5.5 plus 140. Let's go. We'll take that. The 6.5 plus 245. We'll take that one too. You know what? We'll take the 7.5. Yep. We'll take that. You know what? They don't even have an 8.5. Cowards. So we'll probably ladder him all the way up to 8 rebounds. I think it's not a bad play. Max Strus rebounds. But I'm going to obviously investigate this a little bit more. And hopefully my investigations say still take Max Strus rebounds. But I do like what I'm seeing here for Big Max. All right. Who else have we got? We got Evan Mobley. Then we got these scrubs. But let's check Evan Mobley because he was disappointing as hell. Like, if you're looking at a box score, he was. I didn't really watch the game, so I can't tell you how well he played or not. But let's have a look at his points prop. 13.5, it's gone down. He's got a lot of green on here, so he's had a lot of success against Orlando in the past. But he only scored 3 points in that last game. Only took 5 shots. It was weird. Honestly, he should have a bounce back game in this. I'm not man enough to back the over or the under though, but I would lean that way. I'm leaning the over for sure for Evan Mobley. You can't have 2 games in a row where you only shoot the ball 5 times. Like, Donovan Mitchell's going to be slowed down in this one. Cleveland going to have to get points from somewhere. Evan Mobley's got to be that guy after Darius Garland. Now, looking at his rebound prop, 9.5. Crazy to think that I took his rebound prop once in this series, and I think it's when he absolutely went crazy. It was either this, I think it was this 9 rebound game. His line was 8.5. I took the under, and he got 9 boards. Broke my. But what have we seen since then? Last home game, he had 13 boards, and then he had 6 boards in that most recent one. So I just want to filter these games, what he's done without Jarrett Allen against the Orlando Magic, assuming that Jarrett Allen doesn't play. And he's actually gone over in 2 out of his last 3. So maybe that last game where he only had 6 rebounds could be an outlier. So let's not overreact to that. He could bounce back. Look at his assists, 2.5. He's covered this in 3 out of the 6 games so far in this series. No, sorry, 2 out of the 6 games. And in a game where there's probably not going to be too many assists available, I'd probably lean to the under. But yeah, there's nothing I really like here for Evan Mobley. He did have one terrible game, but he has been playing a lot better than that. So there's got to be a bounce back, right? I want to have a quick look at Isaac Okoro. He did start in the last game, I believe. And let's look at his points, 5.5. Ew, that's not nice. So he's covered this in 2 out of the 6 games in this series. Both of the games he did cover happen to be home games, though. So I did make one bet on Okoro, and it was this game where he finished on 0. So I'm not betting on him. Just have a quick look at his rebounds. Oh, yeah. Not happening. So these bench guys for both teams are pretty ass. They get limited minutes, so expect the starters to really be the ones on the court for the majority of the time and racking up the stats. But we've got Caris LeVert. We've got his points prop here. He could do something if he gets the game time. So he's cashed this line 2 out of the 6 games so far in this series. Last 3 games he has gone under, but his minutes have just been dropping. So yeah, you can't take a Caris LeVert minute. You can't take a Caris LeVert bet knowing that his minutes are trending down. You got to be a brave mofo to take on that. Now I just want to take the time to give you guys a bit of an update. I have been collaborating, working on some new partnerships, maybe some new sports books, maybe some fantasy apps. So I'm working on it. Let's see how we go. Obviously, I'm the affiliate with the Player Prop Shop, and they had another winning day yesterday, I believe, on the Denver Nuggets game. So pretty strong picks from them once again. I do bet their MLB plays as well. So it's a pretty interesting page. It's a great resource. And right now, if you didn't hear it already, they got a great sale on. Mother's Day is coming up in about a week's time. They've slashed their yearly subscription to $199. It's normally $500. So I've already bought mine. I'd encourage you guys to buy yours. I also wanted to take this time to ask you guys a question, and hopefully you can put your answers in the comment section below for me. I wanted to ask about what interests you, what excites you. And I know why you watch this. You probably like betting and you probably like basketball. But my question is, which do you love more? Is it basketball or is it betting? And the answer to that is going to influence the type of content I make once the NBA is finished. So let me know in the comment section. Type in basketball or betting. Tell me which one you love more, because that's going to give me an idea of what to create for y'all. But best of luck on this slate. My bets will be in the pinned comment if you choose to follow. We'll see if we can get a same game parlay together. And if you want to chat about these bets, jump into my Discord. It's completely free. We just talk a whole lot of trash, share some insights, and we ride some bets together. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.
Sub to the channel because your boy's getting busy. Coming to you live from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.